All right, I have the privilege of meeting with Marilyn and Del Palmer, who have an incredible amount of experience as missionaries, as well as being involved in a marriage ministry. So since I'm not in the picture, I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves, and then tell us how many years you've been married as well.
My name's Del. This is my lovely wife Marilyn, and I'll let you say how many years we've been married.
December 23rd will be 46 years. Of course, I was 10 when we got married.
Right, of course. And so that means you were what, 12?
Yeah.
Actually,
we were 18 to 21. So
wow.
We were very young.
Wow. Well, congratulations on making it, that long. That's incredible.
Yeah,
so
somebody said you can have 46 years of experience, or you can have 1 year of experience 46 times. So hopefully we've learned a little bit along the way.
Well, I'm sure you have. So, which brings us to why I'm here and why I'm interviewing you. So, not only do you have tons of experience, but you've been involved in marriage ministry. So tell us a little bit about what you've done and the purpose of the marriage ministry, and then we'll move into tips and suggestions that you have that you've seen work, and to encourage us younger folks so that you'll be able to share your wisdom with us. So.
Well, I guess it would go back. Actually, our marriage ministry originated our time while we were in Japan as missionaries. And we had been involved in church planning, and basically had started 3 churches that kind of grew out of home meetings in our home. But we then got ourselves involved really through the Lord's leading in beginning a marriage ministry, really a marriage evangelistic ministry to young Japanese couples that were getting married. And then after being in that for several years, and it kind of migrated, I guess, with us from Japan to the U.S. And then since we've been back in the States, which has been probably, 25 years now, we've been involved in various avenues of marriage ministry here in the States. So, and we're currently, you can say what we're doing currently at the church.
We started the group. We have a team of couples that we have trained to be mentor couples, and they will. When anyone wants to get married in our church, the pastors require premarital counseling, and so one of our mentor couples, if not ourselves, then one of the other team members will counsel those couples, meet with them 6 times before the wedding.
So not the pastor, these mentor couples are trained to do the premarital counseling.
Right. We've seen that in the churches. I mean, the pastors still meet with them a couple of times, but first of all, it takes away a lot of the burden for the pastors, the time that it takes, and also for couples to come in our home and meet with another couple, a lay couple, and face, with them over a cup of coffee. It's a lot less threatening. It's a relaxed atmosphere. We share what God's done for us, and we have a course that we use that really covers just about every area, and they take a premarital inventory before coming, and so we go from that and work with that to discuss different things. But usually what they haven't talked about is the areas that they would probably do the poorest in, and so they need to discuss
true.
more. So it really went from an evangelistic ministry to more now where we're dealing mostly with Christians, but sometimes it could be non-Christians, it could be people that are just starting to come to our church, and so they need to hear the gospel as well.
Now, the mentor couples, do they follow up with them? Do they keep kind of a mentor relationship with the people who are getting married after marriage? I'm just curious.
That really kind of depends on both the couple that are getting married, probably more than the mentor couple.
True.
But oftentimes they do begin a relationship. They'll be invited oftentimes to the wedding and maintain some type of relationship. It really depends on both couples.
Yeah, we have a couple of the couples in our church that we've really just become almost like parents too in a way, and have enjoyed. But it could be all ages too. So some of the couples are, it could be older couples that have been widowed or something. It could be anybody. It doesn't matter whether it's the first time or not. They're all going to go through the counseling course. So and we encourage people to, send an anniversary card or something like that to keep a light communication open, so that if there was ever some time that they would want to talk to them again, they could,
Well, cool. Well, that's really neat, and we've discussed a lot of that in our class as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we've got like 5 minutes left. So let's just bullet point. I mean, if you had 5 minutes with a class of students, counseling students that were going to be counseling marriage folks, I mean, what are some of the things that you would want to express to them, the most important things to help people have a successful, solid, long-lasting marriage?
We've been discussing this a little bit, and we've really kind of boiled it down, I think, to 3 C's. Okay, the first is C would stand for Christ. We always stress the importance of building a Christian marriage and ultimately a Christian family and Christian home, because that's absolutely fundamental.
Christ has to be the center.
To get Christ as the center of the marriage. So the first C would be to find out and get the couple solid in their Christian faith. We feel that's just absolutely fundamental. The second one is commitment. And, we wear a wedding band for a reason. It's a symbol of a commitment. Wedding band doesn't make you married. What makes you married is your commitment that you made before family and before God. And so we feel that it's absolutely important that you be committed to that relationship. In other words,
it's a lifetime thing.
It's a lifetime thing.
Try and see how it goes,
It's not an option. We're committed to it. And then the third thing, and Marilyn will share a little bit about this, is the communication, which is
almost
everything. We also deal with troubled marriages, and in some cases severely troubled marriages. And in each case, it really boils down to communication. But one of the things that we would recommend, and I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, Jonathan, sacred marriage. This is in all of, we just recently given this by a friend. This is the best thing we have probably run across in our history. And it asks a very interesting question. The whole book is based upon this question. And the question simply is, what if God designed marriage not to make you happy, but to make you holy? And that's the thrust of the book. And Marilyn had a couple of things that she would want to share.
We both highlighted this one, so you probably want to share
Well, this guy's right. Well, basically the question is that I would ask myself as a husband. He said, all of a sudden the question startled me, and it startled me as well, and I will frame it in a personal way. Does Marilyn feel like she's married to Jesus?
And do I feel, like Del feels he's married to Jesus?
And the thought is that where Scripture teaches over and over again that we're to be more and more like Jesus, well then, that being the case, Marilyn ought to feel like she's married to Jesus. And then you had
Marilyn.
And at that comment, I kind of want to crawl under the table there, but.
And another thing that I noticed is that there were just so many good things in this book, but one that I loved was where it said, instead of placing demands on your spouse to look to God to have your needs met, instead of placing demands on your spouse, look to God to have your needs met, not to your spouse.
Right.
That way you can approach your spouse in a spirit of servanthood. And I think it's just really, every time I struggle with, whether or not I want to do a certain thing, I always just keep reminding myself that I'm his helpmeet, and what does that mean today? How can I help him, no matter how little or big it is? And that's always been, I think, like you said, it's a lifetime thing, the commitment, you work on it always. It doesn't mean once you've been married 10 years, now it's going to be real easy, or, even 20 years.
Yeah.
It's just something you always have to keep working on. And we try and encourage the young couples that, right now you're just, in bliss, but there's going to be times when it's going to be tough, but then you just keep working on it.
I really like the statement made by Billy Graham's wife, Ruth Graham. She makes the statement that a happy marriage is a union of two good forgivers.
A union of two good forgivers.
And, I mean, that's certainly the case.
All right, Christ, commitment, and communication.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we got time for like one question, and I assume predominantly the folks that you would be counseling are Christians or at least have an understanding of who God is. I guess, like, let's say to somebody who's counseling somebody that may not know God or aspire to God's standard. When you say commitment in this day and age, like the subtitle of that book or that question is, and so many people are getting married, to make themselves happy. Mm-hmm. And so you talk about commitment, which is almost the opposite. I mean, whether you're happy or not, you're going to, commitment is the most important thing. How do you express the value of commitment to a couple? How do you help them understand that it's not about them? It's really about each other in that commitment.
That's a very good question. I'm not sure exactly how to answer that, but one of the major issues that we deal with in almost every case is that people get married now and they're living together.
Huh. Okay.
Christian or non-Christian.
Okay, what percentage? You said almost every case. This is just very interesting.
Well, very few.
Well, yeah, I can't give you a percentage,
if you were just to guess. If you were just to guess.
Out of our church, or out of, I would say any church above 80%.
Okay.
Probably above 90.
Are cohabitating.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What?
And the difficulty with that is what they don't realize, and they're calling it a, trial marriage, which you've probably heard before. In reality,
they're doing it just to save money or whatever they think the reason is.
Sure.
They have
all their
different reasons to support that. But what they don't realize is, and statistics bear this out, if they cohabit before marriage, they increase their chances of divorce by 50%, above the national average.
Right.
So it goes from being 50% to like 75%. They've also done research and shown that of 100 couples that cohabitate before they get married, of 100 couples, just cohabitate, there will be only 14 couples that will end up married and together. So what happens is first of all, it becomes a serial cohabitation.
Oh, yeah.
Where they go from one partner to another. Because as we get back to the same thing, no commitment. This doesn't work, walk away. And then of the ones that do get married, again, 75% roughly are going to divorce. And so, and then there are others that do not, just for whatever reason, do not stay together. So it's, but you don't hear those.
And we challenge them, couples.
So we challenge couples, and we help them to realize the seriousness of the steps that they are taking in marriage. And
I'm smiling because when my wife and I went through counseling, we failed the test. We took the pre-marriage inventory. Yeah, well, we failed. The pastor. He didn't even show us the grade but I really was oblivious. To marriage and what really it takes, and to young folks, and to someone who's not been married, it probably is something you can't convince people of how difficult it can be. So,
we've even had couples that were already living together. In fact, even one couple had a child, and then they were decided to get married in the church. And we challenged them with chastity before the wedding, and he said, "We've got 2 bedrooms. I'll move out into the other bedroom." And we had another couple that we challenged, and they called us the second day of the honeymoon and thanked us for making the wedding night special. So it proved, it's a tough thing, and it's hard to talk about those things with couples, but we know it's important.
Well, thanks. Thank you for your time.
The only other thing I wanted to share on communication is one verse that I don't think is usually shared, and I thought about it when you're doing marriage counseling, but it's where it says, "Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." And I think that's a great verse to challenge couples in communication, no matter how long we've been married.
Yeah, what verse was that?
It's right after where it says, "Don't let your anger go down."
Don't let your sun go. Don't let the sun go down
with your anger. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. So I'll let you know.
We don't claim to have all the answers. We're a little bit like this statement that C.S. Lewis made. He said, "We're just," or he would say, "I'm just an inmate in the same hospital that happens to have been admitted a little bit earlier and can maybe share a few things."
Words of wisdom. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.